There's a button on the back of the phone.
There's a pressure-sensitive
button that you use to interact with the toys. I hate that sentence. I'm an adult.
That's why you need fun in your life. That's why they're called toys.
The other thing we can talk about is the phone itself, the Nothing Phone 3.
Nothing Phone 3.
This one we don't have as much detail to talk about because it's gotten announced and we've gotten specs and we've gotten features.
I got to play with it a bunch.
You got to play with it.
And I have footage.
So we have some thoughts, but obviously the review is not out yet. It is coming soon.
Yeah.
I will again go around the table. Is this thing ugly?
No.
David says no.
I think it looks great.
I say yes.
Adam says yes.
I haven't seen it yet.
Ellis hasn't seen it yet. Perfect. I'm going to pull it up.
Tiebreaker.
I think yes, it is ugly.
It's so good looking.
Nothing Phone 3.
I think
I'm
all
going to
of their
turn my
phones,
monitor to Ellis right now
and
get a live reaction. Is this to you an ugly phone?
What? What?
It looks great.
Dude, that looks like first generation Dolly render of
It looks like a teenage engineering.
Like it looks It looks like nonsense.
So I'm going to go with ugly. Yeah. I think this is a polarizing phone where 1/3 of people will go, oh, this is kind of neat. And 2/3 of people will go, it's kind of wonky. There is a screen on the back, a 25 by 25 pixel Glyph matrix. They've gotten rid of the normal lights they had on the back of the phone before. This is a $799 quote flagship phone, but without a flagship chip. It's a Snapdragon 8S Gen 4. It is a plastic back, triple 50 megapixel cameras. Actually, I don't know if it's a plastic back. I think it's Gorilla Glass back. But triple 50 megapixel cameras on the back and a 50 megapixel selfie camera. Silicon carbon battery, 5100 milliamp hour battery, fast charging. Just a bunch of things going on with this phone. But the aesthetics are the thing that is hard to get over at the beginning.
I think it looks great.
I feel like all of Nothing's phones are beautiful. I think this phone in particular is like not the prettiest one because of the asymmetry of the cameras.
Now
that has thrown me off.
Now that I've looked at it for a little bit, this is the best looking phone of this year.
Or disagree.
It's bold.
The 3A is the best looking phone.
You slipped you $50 under the table to say that.
The 3A.
Oh, the Nothing But 3A? Yeah, I mean, that's a good looking
It was
phone.
beautiful.
I'm into stuff that doesn't look
good.
You think the Nothing 3A?
I think it looks good because it's weird.
Is that the gray one?
Do you think the Nothing 3A is the
3A.
prettiest?
Yeah, that
really
phone
good
is beautiful.
That phone looks great.
Okay, here's what is...
I can't reach the wrong button from here.
Here's what is unique and I think is why the cameras look the way they do. The periscope camera, these phones that all have periscope cameras have large camera bumps because they have large sensors and large optics arrays that cause this Z-axis depth off of the back of the phone.
Yeah.
This phone doesn't really have a huge camera bump. It does have like camera rings, kind of like a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
But with this big periscope camera, they actually punched that through the PCB so that instead of the whole thing being on one side and stacked on top of the PCB, they've like punched the element through the PCB. So there is no camera bump, but there are small camera rings instead.
Yeah, right.
That is the thing that they are proud of. The downside is just not aligned in any axis with any of the other cameras. So it's kind of a weird blob.
Counterpoint. It has like a counterweight on the side of it.
But it's the same color as the rest of the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they had made the counterweight thing a different color, I think it would have looked more even. Because it technically, those are like the pieces in the top are subdivided into like 3 boxes, and technically that camera does fit inside the box with the counterweight part, and it does fit kind of evenly there.
Yeah.
If the counterweight had been slightly different color, I think it would have looked more even.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Well, I still think it looks great. Okay, so
all this and it was just the aesthetics.
Yeah.
So they got rid of the famous glyphs that Nothing has always had, but they added they added a thing called the Glyph matrix.
Yeah, it just got moved into there.
Yeah,
It's a tiny screen on the back.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if they had both because the Glyph was like that was the key part of the Nothing phone, and I also wish that they had just updated the Glyphs to be able to do like multiple colors or whatever, just like the Nexus 6 when I jailbroke it.
Damn.
Yeah. But now this Glyph Matrix has a number of things that they call Glyph Toys, which
Genius.
is a weird way.
Awesome. I love it.
It's a weird name. I don't like that.
It's so good.
I don't.
They don't have to name everything, guys.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
If Apple could do it, by God, nothing can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, it's this little
dynamic back island.
It's this tiny diode grid, and you can do a number of different things on it. They have a number of different apps built in so far. They have a bubble level, which can be kind of helpful, I guess. They have a digital clock, so in like a count, like a stopwatch clock that's pretty good looking,
And a regular clock.
That's cool.
and a regular clock to show you the time. They have a battery indicator that shows you like the battery percentage as well as like a drain sort of like level thing. They have the mirror app, which basically gives you like a little subdivided grid.
Yeah, do we think
of
that's
what
going to work?
I used it at the event.
And it worked? Because I just used the
works.
computer version of
Yeah.
it, and I'm in a very well-lit room right now.
Oh, does it look great? No, but you can tell where you are.
That is pretty much.
You know, you actually can't from
No,
the,
that is
the
basically.
websites.
So it's not technically okay. So it's basically a viewport for the main camera because you can. There's it's not capacitive. It's a button on the back of the phone.
There's a pressure sensitive
button that you use to interact with the toys. I hate that sentence. I'm an adult.
That's why you need fun in your life. That's why they're called toys.
So you can play spin the bottle and rock paper
Yeah,
scissors
okay.
on the back
So
there.
there's also
Absolutely.
spin the bottle, and I just have to. This is really funny because I don't think Carl Payne knows what spin the bottle is for.
Dude, what?
I think he 100%.
During the he knows, but he knows. But it was at the event. They were like, they had a little video, and they showed these 4 friends like eating dinner, and they're like, "It's time to pay the bill. No, they were like, let's play spin the bottle." And then it was like they were panicking. Oh no, who's it gonna land on? It was like, is this about to get weird? And then they were like, guess you have to pay the bill. And I was
Gotcha.
like, okay.
Oh, that's what
I
spin
get
the
it.
bottle
He
is for.
kind of laughed.
Listen, it took someone like 5 minutes to code this just so that they could do that in the keynote, and I think totally worth it.
No,
For
it
sure.
took someone 5 minutes to code this just so nothing phone users could call everyone else kissless virgins.
They have a solar clock, which is pretty cool. It shows like a horizon and it shows where the sun is in the sky, which is pretty cool. I like
Yeah.
that. They have rock paper scissors, so you can play against your phone. I famously have won multiple times against the phone at the demo unit station, which was cool. I also played the phone I was using at the demo station versus the phone that a friend of mine was using at the demo station, and I won multiple times, which is also cool.
Did you tweet that 6 years ago?
No. But they also have a Magic 8 Ball, and the Magic 8 Ball one is
That's
funny.
awesome.
It shows up, and then you shake the phone like a Magic 8 Ball, and then it does the bubbly thing. And then it shows you the answer like better luck next time or whatever. But it has it uses the gyroscope and the vibration motor, and so as you like rotate the phone, the thank you or like better luck next time moves around, you can feel it sort of
This is just
vibrating.
like the nothing dynamic island.
Even worse. This is
worse?
This is
functional.
way less useful.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
only because they're the ones that made the 20 or so apps that are on it. But
Yeah,
like,
that's my
well,
question.
they have an APK, yes.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
They have
An
an open
API?
open APK.
okay.
API.
API,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, API. Yeah.
So, because now at this point with the phone just coming out, this is for me firmly in gimmick territory.
Oh yeah.
But what if like Flighty came to Android? God, crazy
No.
idea, I know. But and then on the back of your phone, you could see like, oh, Flight
Well,
is
here's the
departing
problem
in
I
40
have
minutes.
with it is that
You know, like app developers need to put
it's
this in.
hard when these companies it's really difficult when these companies introduce some new gimmick and they're like, there's an open API, but then literally the next generation they just get rid of it.
That's true.
That's
So
fair.
the glyphs, I don't know how many people are going to develop for it because again, who knows if they're going to keep it. That's kind of the awkward thing.
Yeah.
You need a company to really be like, this is our new direction. We're doing this for at least 4 generations. You can develop for it. You know, because Razer has famously done this too, where they like come out with a laptop with some new crazy feature and they're like, open API developers, come on. And then the
Yeah.
next year they just
Yeah.
get rid of it.
What's the matter, developers? Don't you love developing?
Yeah, come on. Don't you love
is
like
funny
spending
because
tons of
a
resources
lot of-
for a small audience?
You know, a lot of tech enthusiasts, even like myself and reviewers, we want constant improvement and we want things to get better. So when I see something like a hole punch cutout for a selfie camera and Face ID, and then Apple makes dynamic island around it,
Yeah.
I go, oh, okay, this is a nice way of making up for like this,
Flaw.
technology that's not ready to go fully under the screen yet. But I expect that dynamic island and that hole punch to get smaller every year until it's gone.
Right.
And Apple, even though you could argue it's stagnant or whatever, to their credit, developers will develop something for Dynamic Island, and there will be years of phones with the same Dynamic Island.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they can at least count on it like working well with all these phones.
They're also reaching like billions of people, whereas nothing with a single version of the Nothing
Yeah.
phone. yeah, you just don't know, like you said, you don't know if it's going to last a long time. So anyway, I mean, it's cool, it's gimmicky, it's fun. If you're going to develop like a fun little app for it, then I think that's dope. But yeah, besides that, there's just like on a previous Nothing phone, there's that small little red square.
Little red light.
This time it's actually a light.
It's a record light.
And I think that you said that. I think we might have said that in the last video of the phone that had that it would be cool if it was functional.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe we didn't. Maybe
I'll take credit. No, I'll take credit.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like saying that.
Yeah. Cool.
Grok, is this true?
Grok, context, please. That never gets old.
Yeah, but now when you're recording with the phone, that little square will blink, which
Nice.
is cool. I think
like
it's
that.
nice. It's not that bright, so outside I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but inside
Fair
you
enough.
can, which is nice. They have this new thing called Essential Search, and basically it's a system-wide search similar to the persistent Google search bar, but it's also an LLM using Gemini Nano. Or
You're
not
losing me, David.
Not Gemini Nano, using Gemini. Well, now, so now instead of when you're searching your phone, you can search for an app, you can search for a calendar event or whatever, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also just say like, what are the name of Saturn's moons, and it just shows it to you using Gemini Nano.
Will it make one up?
Probably.
Yeah, so it'll just be wrong.
But maybe it's not Gemini Nano, it's just regular Gemini because it requires an internet connection.
Oh.
But it's I don't know, I think it's interesting to not have to have the Gemini app open, and you can just like
Interesting.
you can now use this search bar for anything that you want to search. But it's cool because they were saying basically that when you use regular Gemini and ask it a question, it tells you way too much information, Whereas this one, it'll just be like, it'll just give you the answers, but very succinctly. It'd be like, oh, the moons around Jupiter are these things. And then that's kind of it.
I.O.
And it's just, I think it's just a nice little thing to be able to, if you're with your friends looking up a simple question and it just tells you.
No, let me lie to my friends in peace.
Yeah. And we also have to talk about the price. We didn't talk about the price.
$7.99.
$7.99.
So $7.99, which has been quite contentious for people on the internet because Nothing is used to making the $350, $400 phone.
Yeah. Remind you of anything?
I wonder where Carl Pei used to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. So they're calling it their first flagship. That's the same price as the Pixel 9. That's the same price as the S25. Mm-hmm. It's basically the same price as iPhone 16. Mm-hmm. So it's basically now they are competing directly with like all of these major manufacturers. They obviously have way more fun features and weird, like the UI is really good.
And you could actually get kissed with this phone.
Or win rock, paper, scissors.
Or what? Rock, paper, scissors. So
yeah.
I think that's going to be a big question mark. But and so the base price gets you 256 gigs of storage and 12 gigs of RAM, and then the 512 model, which is I think $100 more, gives you 512 gigabytes of storage and 16 gigs of RAM. So it does give you more RAM.
It is interesting that they're playing the flagship space, but they technically don't have a flagship chip. It's the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4 instead of the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is in some of the phones you just talked about at that price, the Galaxy S25. How many people buying these phones care about the chipset versus just deserve the better chipset at that price, Like I think a lot of people buy a car and don't really know about the engine in it, but once you spend over a certain amount, you deserve to get better parts and better build, whether you notice it or are an enthusiast or not. And I think if you're buying a $799 phone, you probably should get a flagship chipset, but if you don't notice, then maybe it doesn't matter.
I think you're trading off that for a more interesting design and more interesting UI. Like I would personally buy this over a regular S25 like any day of the week because I think the S25 is the most boring phone in history.
All right, thanks for watching this clip. Hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, Andrew is not here today. So the person who guesses where he is in the comments and makes the best and funniest guess, I'll have a dream about you tonight.
That was going so well.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Way over there on the that's the rails. We're way off the rails.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe.